William Sharp was a Scottish writer who wrote historical fantasies inspired by the Celtic revival of the 1890s. We've already covered his biographical details in episode 60 on the Gypsy Christ and Other Stories. The Hills of Ruel and Other Stories is Sharp's final collection, published 16 years after his death under the pseudonym of Fiona MacLeod. It is a collection of moody, grim, and often raw stories of madness, child murder, betrayal, and horrid death. The title story has the narrator sitting with the beautiful maiden Aelid and with Isla, the latter telling the two the story of Prince Art, who had married the beautiful Etain. Art loves Etain deeply and is not afraid of death, but of not being able to find Etain in the land of death after their own demise. One night as he wanders about, he meets a man who seems to know his innermost secret woes, and who tells him to go to the hills of Ruel where the green folk live. After hearing their song, he falls fast asleep and awakes as an old man, with Etain gone and being the wife of Midir, the king of the world, who makes sand of women's hearts and dust of men's hope. By the yellow moon rock has the piper Rory MacAlpine piping at a festive gathering at the farm of his foster brother Donald McAllister. He is not really himself, however, since he has repeatedly had a dream of a beautiful woman playing a haunting tune he can't get out of his mind. The elderly Dionite McAllister tells him he must take heed, as she whom he has seen was Bean Nimhir, the Nigaean Imhir, the serpent woman, the daughter of Ivor, who is the wife of Amadadhu, the dark fool, who takes a man's life through the touch of her lips. After getting drunk, he is suddenly awakened in the middle of the night by an open window, and on leaving the house he walks through the village, piping the frantic tune he had dedicated to Ivor's daughter, until he is seen close by the moon rock, a huge stone said to have fallen from the moon. There he is witnessed by a local tramp to confront an invisible presence upon the stone itself until he falls over to the ground, despite his previous offering and sacrifice of his pipes and tobacco and of his claims of kinship to Ivor himself. Enya of the Dark Eyes is the tale of Enya, the daughter of Firbis of the Seven Duns, falling in love with a piper honour-bound to wear a bird mask on his face. However, Enya's father had already promised her to Cathbad, son of Cathbad Mór, and Cathbad takes her to be his wife. But the piper, Aod, steals her from him on their wedding day as his men overrun the village. Aod, it turns out, is the king of the hillmen, and Firbis is forced to give Enya to him and bid him leave them in peace. But soon, Aod is called to be the High King, and when Cathbad hears this, he steals Enya from him while he is away, and this leads to a battle which, though he is victorious, does not end favourably at all for Aod the singer. In the Danan Ron we have Anne Gillespie, of the family of Robert Acana, who is to marry Manus MacCodrum, the dark-browed man whose clan was derisively called Sliog Dan Ron, offspring of the seals because of their skin complexion. However, the three surviving sons of Robert Acana, Marcus, Gloom, and Seamus, do not wish her to leave, especially Gloom, the wicked-eyed piper. Gloom and Marcus try to force Manus to leave, as they wish Gloom to marry Anne instead, but it does not end well for the brothers. Before he slips off, Gloom promises to play the Song of the Seals in the hour of Manus's death. Manus and Anne leave, but their life together is brief, and soon Manus descends into insanity when taunted by the ever-present piping of Gloom, the piping which leads him to seek refuge among the seals, to no avail. The sad queen narrates the tragic fate that befalls Ulrich the Skald and Conna the Harper after they are left as the sole survivors of the battle between Swen of the Long Hair and Farcha the Silent. The twain, after escaping drowning, are cast upon the Isle of Mist and are given unto the tender mercies of the Amazon warrior queen Scathach, who likes not the poets after her own poet-lover was untrue to her. Ahes the Pale takes place among the sacred forests, where a man murders one of the druids and takes their place, continuously on the run from his former lover Ahes, who was sent by her brother the king of Gwynedd to either make him wed her or kill him and bring back his head, because she had come to be with child with the man. Lastly, Farah Gaul is the sad story of a woman who places her silent, unmoving babe by the pool of the changeling and receives in return a bright and happy child. But after 7 years her daughter Morag leaves her, and the mute, unmoving babe is returned to her once more. A grim little collection, definitely worth a read.